Hi, welcome back. It's been a while since I did a dedicated product review, and I have to be honest with you, we've been keeping things minimal around here. I've not been buying a ton of new makeup, but when Miss Lisa Eldridge releases a product, it has to be bagged, it has to be secured. So I picked up her Seamless Skin Tint. This is the new-ish. It's been out for about a month now, I would say. Honestly, guys, I'm kind of losing track of time. It's probably been out for 2 months now, at least. But it is the new Seamless Enhancing Tint. So this goes along with the Seamless Skin Foundation family, except this is a tinted moisturizer. So I think this comes in 18 different shades. I got mine in the shade T3. It is a little light for me. If I could go back and redo it, I don't know if I would do T4. I think T4 was supposed to be more for, well, it says neutral golden undertone. I probably could have done the T4. I don't know. Honestly, I wish this were just a little bit darker, but it goes up 2 to 3 shades and neither one of those shades are my undertone. So I like to go with most of the time a neutral undertone. Sometimes I'll pick up a cool, especially if I'm in the winter time. If I'm in the summertime, I can get away with a little bit more of a warmer undertone, but I generally like to keep things neutral. So that's why I started with T3. Now I am currently wearing this, and I have been wearing this for 6 hours at the time of currently filming. And one thing that I do have to brag about with this tinted moisturizer is that I do feel like it hangs onto the skin really well throughout the day. The longevity is pretty exceptional with this. That's the first thing that I noticed. It does not have a ton of slip. So if you're looking for that lighter finish coverage, but you want some extra longevity, I think this formula really excels in that area. So this is going to be a pretty quick review. I'll touch a little bit more on longevity later on down the road, but what I wanted to talk about first is kind of the way this feels, the way it applies, the way that it wears. So I find this to be a pretty similar formula to the original Seamless Skin Foundation. That's a very transformative formula, and what I mean by that is it takes on whatever you put on underneath it, and I feel like that really rings true to this tinted moisturizer. So if I put on something really glowy, like my Beauty Project Extreme Cream, I actually just used that example with this skin tint in the video before this, it will have more of a luminous effect to it. Now this is described as being fresh and luminous in the finish. That's one thing that I almost want to disagree with, because if I do not prep my skin with anything, like for example, today I just used my Iris and Romeo Reset Spray, which doesn't add any type of like extra luminosity. It kind of just hydrates my skin. This to me today has a little bit more of a flatter finish, other than the highlighter that I'm like very obviously wearing. This is the Saie Glow Blushes, and they're very intense. But if you look at the rest of my skin right now, it's pretty mattified. So I find that if I don't prep my skin with this, it is a little bit more of like this blurring, like satin finish. So keep that in mind. It definitely mimics whatever you put on underneath it. However, I find that regardless of how I wear it, if I wear something luminous or something just more natural underneath, it still has pretty good longevity. So let's hop back into the longevity on this. I really haven't noticed that this comes off at all. Obviously, we aren't really into the warmer months right now, so I can't gauge it for that. But in typical setting, I mean, it's been like 70, 75 some days here. It has held up really well on my skin, so I really don't have any complaints with the longevity. And in terms of your skin type, if you're oily, like I said, just put something on underneath it that helps with that oil control, and this will kind of mimic the rest. The texture of this is very smooth. I have to hand it to her on that. I mean, you barely feel this when you apply it to the skin. It's very lightweight. It's very breathable. I can't imagine anyone saying that this feels heavy or feels uncomfortable on the skin. It really has a super natural finish. Now, this is supposed to have some hydrating properties in it. I can't remember the exact ingredients, but I know it's supposed to hydrate the skin. My skin has been dry as a desert. Like, it has been so hard to gauge things right now because my skin is so freaking dry. So I can't really comment on that. I will say, I mean, it's not the most like ultra like rich hydrating formula that I've ever felt, and especially because it will take on, in my opinion, whatever you wear underneath it. So if I want to ensure having that super ultra moisturized feel, then I definitely need to put something on that feels that way underneath, if that makes sense. So I wanted to taper this off with some final thoughts, just some things that I've noticed, things that I wanted to chat about at the end. The first is that I always like to kind of categorize who this would be a perfect match for, what skin types this would be a perfect match for. And since it is kind of like a chameleon and I feel like it adjusts really well with, you know, whatever you put on underneath it, I have to say I don't want to limit it to one particular skin type. I do think those of you who may have mature skin, if you have normal, I might say mature to normal skin would probably be the best contender with this. Now, if you have oily skin, I honestly, I think that this could be a very good contender for oily skin as well, as long as you prep accordingly. It's not as glowy and dewy and hydrating as a lot of typical tinted moisturizers are on the market right now. So I would definitely say don't be afraid of that, because it does have that super natural finish that really isn't going to lean ultra glowy. Now, if we're doing side by side to the original Seamless Skin Foundation, I do want to give you like a straight up honest opinion. If you have this foundation can do no wrong to me. I rave about it 24/7 nonstop. It is one of my top 3 favorite foundation formulas that I've ever tried. I have so much love for this formula. So much love that I have to say that there are so many times when I actually just mix this with my own moisturizer and I create my own custom tinted moisturizer out of it. I've been doing this ever since this foundation released. Obviously, if I want more coverage, I wear it by itself, but for as long as I've owned this, I will very often mix it in with one of my favorite moisturizers and wear it as a tinted moisturizer. And I have to say that I kind of like that finish better. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because I can control how much pigment I'm getting or how much, you know, like moisturizer I have. I can kind of just adjust the settings, if you will, by mixing this with my own moisturizer. Now, this is a beautiful tinted moisturizer. If you're just someone that does not want to fool around with that and you're just looking for something quick, super travel friendly. I love the squeeze packaging. It's it's small. It would fit in a super tiny bag, a carry-on, whatever. Ultra travel friendly. I'm definitely not knocking it off of the roster. I'm just saying that in comparison to the two, and since I already use this in a tinted moisturizer way, I just feel like this is very hard to beat. But if you're someone that is no fuss, you want something that you can throw on with your fingers, with a brush. However, I find that I like both ways with this product. Probably a brush a little bit more. Then yeah, this is a perfectly acceptable, beautiful skin tint that's on the market right now. I also forgot to mention that I have used a brush and my fingers. I think it looks great both ways. I personally have been preferring a brush more with it because I have been dealing with a lot of redness, a lot of eczema flare-ups, and I feel like I get the most coverage out of a brush compared to my hands, which gives a little bit more of a natural finish. It allows the redness to peek through more. So I do prefer using this with a brush most of the time. So my final thoughts are, if you are a Lisa Eldridge fan by nature, then of course you need to pick this up. Of course you need to try this for yourself, because honestly, I can't pick out one negative thing that I've noted in this foundation formula, except for on days when I'm extremely dry. Girl, if I do not prep, like if we are not getting a really ultra hydrated thick moisturizer on underneath, she's not gonna shine. Like it's not gonna look the best. So that's why I keep putting emphasis on pay attention to your own skin type and adjust that accordingly to your primer and your skincare products beforehand. But other than that, I don't really have any negatives to say about this. I really respect Lisa Eldridge and her entire line. It is just so carefully crafted and the formulas are just beautiful. And like right now I'm wearing her new lip liners and they last so well on the lips. So it's always a kudos because I know that she's putting so much time and effort into these formulations. So yeah, overall, beautiful skin tint, beautiful finish on this. And like I said, if you are a Lisa fan, then you know you're gonna pick it up. You know you're gonna try it. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you have tried this out. What have you experienced wearing it? It is a very cool chameleon formula. I would love to know your thoughts as well. Let me know if I missed something, if there's something I didn't touch on. I do want to get these like kind of like quicker style reviews in, just because these are so easy for me to edit and also get quick bits of info out to you. So let me know if I missed something. Overall, I think look, this is 6 hours right now that I've had this on, and it still looks the same as when I put it on 6 hours ago. It's probably, where are we at? We're probably almost at 7 hours right now. So very impressive for a skin tint, because a lot of them just can't hold up. And this is the number one praise that I have with this formula, is that it does hold up. Okay, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see y'all in my next one.